What is going on, everybody? What is happening? What's happening? Hey, guys, I want to welcome you to today's training, Do Accounting Like Jesus. And man, I'm super excited about sharing with you so that you can learn the three biblical secrets that literally can probably transform your business. And look, you're not going to catch many accountants talking about this. You're not going to catch many accountants doing anything like this. That's why I decided to do it, because I think it's important that we learn things the untraditional way. The untraditional way. So, guys, I'm Jay Moore. I'm the Healthy Accountant. My mission in life is to help people like you and like me to account for their life. Now, here's the thing: when you account for your life, you got to deal with business, you've got to deal with family, you've got to deal with finances, you've got to deal with money, you've got to deal with relationships. All of those things are embedded into account for your life. So, today, who doesn't want to talk money? Who doesn't want to talk finances? But here's the thing: you probably talk finance. You probably heard a lot of different types of things, and so today it's going to be a little bit different. And come in with an open mind. Come in as the business owner that you are. This is specifically targeted for people who are in business, who maybe at the early stage in business. You could even be, somewhat down the road. You could be making hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, and you're just trying to figure out, why am I bleeding cash, or why am I not really getting to where I want to be, or where I would like to be. So if that's you, you should stick around, hang out with me today on this training. Today we're not selling anything. We're just here to help. So we want you to gain some help from what it is that we have. So let's jump right in this. But now, before we jump into the secrets and all the stuff that that's out there, and that you can really benefit from, just want to share some things with you, because I think it's important to set the stage for any kind of training that you're going to be on. Here's what's happened over the past several years. Lots of things have happened. Look, were you around when the dot-com busted? Come on, 2001. Were you around then? Maybe you weren't, but I was around. Dot-com came. I worked for dot-com. Anybody here work for dot-com? I worked at a dot-com, and well, I was at MCI working for the internet division, and then the internet division was sold off to another company, company called Cable and Wireless. That company then later shut down. Right when the dot-com bubble burst, we burst with it. So I was there with the dot-com bursting. That's 2000, 2001. Then you fast forward 2008. Was anybody around for the real estate bubble burst? Now, here's what's interesting about the real estate bubble bursting is that everybody knew something was going on. I was a mortgage broker back then. I spent about 6 years in the mortgage business, because I said, wow, this was more lucrative than accounting. Now check this out. Now this is what's so funny. I didn't do accounting like Jesus back then. I was a CPA. I knew accounting, but I did not do accounting like Jesus back then. And I went with everybody who bursted in that real estate bubble burst. And here's the thing: you would think that someone who had insider knowledge, somebody who was, at the table, if you will. I was at the table of real estate. But I remember one time, me and my partner John, we were in the office, had a nice little office out in College Park, Maryland, right near the University of Maryland. Just a beautiful area to have an office. I wish we still had this office. So we're in there and we're looking at each other like, man, something ain't right. You had no income, no asset loans. You had no documentation loan. You had say anything you want kind of loans. You didn't need anything except a social security number. But doing accounting like Jesus had not been born. Man, I'm going to tell you, man, I wish I had that back then, because had I had that, my friend and I, I think we could have made some better decisions. And so 2008, the bubble bursted. Now here we are in 2022. Now you're trying to figure out, well, Jay, what happened between 2008 and 2022? Well, I would say a lot has happened. Now, from 2008 to 2011, I'm going to tell you, J Moore the Healthy Accountant, there was no J Moore the Healthy. The Healthy Accountant didn't come to life until around 2014. So we're 8 years in. We're 8 years in, and so in 8 years, here's what's happened in 8 years. Here's what happened in 8 years. We've we've learned some secrets, not because someone came and taught it to us. It's because we went out and found it. Guys, if you're going to account for your finances, you're going to have to go forward. You're going to have to go out. You're going to have to go out before other people and do something different. I did something different. And one of the I'm not. I think I'm gonna save this one for last. Yeah, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save this one for last, and this is going to be a bonus. See, one of the things we have to realize is that accounting is everything. Write that down. That's your first point. Accounting is everything, because if you don't have accounting, then you're going to miss. You're going to miss some critical numbers in your business. Some critical numbers. Like, you've heard of a profit and loss statement, right? Do you look at it every month? You've heard of a balance sheet or a net worth statement, but let's just think about the balance sheet. You heard of that? Cash flow statement. You heard of those? Are you looking at those? And a lot of times, many of us, because there was a time when I didn't look at it. I know I was an accountant. I wasn't even looking at it. I was just processing money. I was just working for clients. So here's the thing. Accounting is everything. And because accounting is everything, that means that without it, you're going to fail. I'm not saying that you wouldn't make money. No, I'm not telling you you're not going to make any money, because you can make a lot of money. But there are people who've made a lot of money, and because of certain things in their business, say like accounting and even taxes, because taxes, oh my goodness, taxes is going to steal your wealth. And most of us don't understand how big the tax game is. It's a game. And many people are playing to lose. Are you going to play to win today? All right, great. I know you're going to play to win. If you're going to play to win, let me know in the comments. Say, I will win. I will do better. I will look at my accounting in a different way. I will not allow myself not to see. I will not allow myself not to see what it is I need to see when it comes to my accounting. So, how do we get here? I just told you I went through two busts. I went through the bust of 2000, and I went through the bust of 2008. Now, the bust of 2000, I didn't bust. I didn't bust. Now, the company I work for busted, but I wound up starting a business. But in 2008, I busted. But here's the thing: we're here now. We're here now because of the investment that somebody made. Guys, have you ever been to like a conference, or you ever been to those personal development conferences where people come in there, they get excited and inspired? That's the reason why we're here today. We're here today because someone invited me into an opportunity that when I went into the opportunity, I saw something that was bigger than the opportunity. It wasn't just the money. I saw that my life could change if I changed. I want you to write this down. Here's what Jesus said, and this is not technically in my notes. Here's what Jesus said. Jesus said that if you change, everything will change. If you change, everything will change. I'm paraphrasing, because really what he says, look, change how you think first, because you've got to account for how you think. Have you accounted for how you think? Have you wrote down all the thoughts that you thought of yesterday, all the thoughts you may have thought of today? Have you been writing those down? See, that's a part of accounting too, but we're not getting to that part. But that's a part of tracking what your results would be. See, accounting will tell you what your results are. Absolutely. When you go look at the numbers, you will see what the results are. And many of us, we look at our results and we say, oh my goodness, no results. Or I'm not reaching my goals. Why? Because you did not realize the first thing you had to do was change. Write this down. Before anything changes, I must change. Write that down. Before anything changes, I must change. Your finances won't change. Nope. Your net worth won't change. Your business won't grow. Your marriage won't change. Your kids won't change. Nothing will change until you change. I got that from Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn said, Jim Rohn is one of the greatest speakers, one of the greatest trainers who have ever lived. He says that for you to change, like, you must change. That's it. And Jesus, and look, he got it from Jesus, because that's all Jesus talked about was you better change, because look, the kingdom of heaven has arrived. And because the kingdom of heaven has arrived, then that means that everything you hoped for and prayed for is right here and available to you. So what are these secrets that Jesus laid out for us? It's interesting because one day when I discovered, like, because at some point you will discover who you are. And then what happens when you discover who you are, you start taking things more serious. You start looking at life a little bit more serious. You start saying to yourself, what has God blessed me with? Recently my son Jacob got hired. He got his first job working at Chick-fil-A. And today he starts his job today. He's super excited. Like, he is so excited. And last week, well, actually, yeah, I think it was last week when he got hired. I said, son, I said, you're blessed, right? Have you considered the blessings that you've been given? Have you considered what it is that God said that he would do for you before the time? You probably haven't considered. So typically, before we start anything, before we go into anything, we should consider some things. Now, let's look at a quick text. And in the text, we're going to go to Luke chapter 14, 20. And I'm going to come back to Jacob in a second. Luke chapter 14, verse 28 to 33. Now, here's the thing. In this passage, and I'm going to read this passage, I'm going to read some of it for you right now. Let's see, Luke chapter 14, 28 to 33. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient enough to finish it? That's verse 28. Now, this whole passage, Jesus is talking about what you should do before you do something. And before you go into business, one of the first accounting things you have to do is count up the cost. Because here's what I've discovered. And I've personally seen this. I recently was involved in a situation, and I think I put that in some of the copy. The person is looking for an investor. They're looking for more. They're looking for money to finish their project, and they're not quite counting the costs. They didn't have a spreadsheet. They didn't have anything that says this is what's happened on paper. And when we were talking to the investor's like, what in the world? Like, what kind of situation is this? Like, you just can't talk to me and tell me about it. You have to show me something. So imagine your business, right? Imagine your business. But what if you've already started? Let's just assume you've already started. Now, Jesus is saying in his admonishment to the people, before you do something, you should sit your butt down. He said, sitteth, he says, for which of you intending to build a tower, right? Sitteth not down first. So he says, you better sit down first. Sit down first and count the cost. So that's our first point. See, counting the cost is going to lead to everything else that we're going to talk about today. And I didn't even understand counting the cost. Here's how, back in 2008, I didn't understand counting the cost, because if I would have counted the cost in 2006, I would have realized that the the market was inflated. We went to buy a house, and my wife was pregnant. Who doesn't want to do well for their wife when they're pregnant? My wife had a bright idea. Let's buy a house. I was not trying to buy a house, to be honest. And here it was. She was like, let's go buy a house. I'm like, why? but she's pregnant. She wasn't asking me to go get ice cream. She wasn't asking me that, for stuff like that. But she says, I want a house, and then she said that, hey, well, something's going on with her mom, and she wants to bring mom down and live with us. I'm saying like, oh my goodness, can I tell her no? But I couldn't tell her no. But here's the thing. We did not count the cost, even though, even like we should have sat down and said, okay, is this really the best time to move? Is this really the best time? Let's do the math. The only math we did was this. I said, well, here's what I said, dummy me. Well, you know what? It only takes, at the time, the mortgage was going to be almost $5,000 a month. We said, I can do that in one deal or less. And I was just like, I can do. I was not even using foresight. Good friend of mine wrote a book called The Face of Leadership. And one of the keys to the face of being a leader is foresight. And I did not have foresight in 2006. And in that not having foresight, what did it do? Well, it put us in a situation that, yeah, we managed to get through it. But we could have wound up buying a house like ours for at least $300,000 less, maybe even in a better area. I want you to think about that. See, when you count the cost first, accounting, this is a secret here. When you count the cost first, you put yourself in a position to make the best decision possible. Sometimes those decisions are going to be contrary to what your desires are telling you. Our desires was, let's go buy a house. It was nice. We start looking at houses. We're looking at houses in the area that we lived in. We lived in Germantown, Maryland, and there were tons of houses. Oh my goodness, they were all over $1 million. I was like, they were 800,000, $1 million. I'm like, I could not afford none of that. Then when we found a house that was just under 600,000, it was like, okay, that's a lot better. But still, we didn't count the cost. That costed, we basically, for not counting, it cost us more time and heartache than anything. Like I said, we could have come back and purchased the house. See, guys, accounting in your business starts accounting in your home. I want you to think about it, because even though you can go and hire somebody, you can go hire like people who can do accounting well. But here's the thing. Before you hire them, see, you're not going to get the best person until you have the best money most of the time. So if it's going to cost you a little bit more, then that means that as the business owner, you're going to have to make sure you have some protocols in place. So one of the things you got to do is you're going to have to count the cost, because by counting the cost, that's going to set you apart. That's going to put you in a position where your business finances will be able to grow. Hence, your business will be able to grow. Yeah, I was thinking about this process with Jesus, man, because Jesus was so smooth, man. Jesus came out of the construction business. Think about this. He was in the construction business before he started his ministry. Why did Jesus shut down his ministry? I'm sorry, he didn't shut his ministry. Why did he shut down his construction business? He probably made good money. He probably was really good at it. Why did he shut it down to go into his ministry? Because he realized what was more important. Listen. Now I have a text here, but I'm going to also give you some more context about what I'm saying here. Jesus understood what was more important. He understood that it was better to control what he'd been given, which was the gift of being the Savior. Come on now. He knew he was the Savior, but he had to wait until the timing was right. He knew that, you know what, man, I've been given something that's really big. Now, in Luke chapter 16, 19, 12 to 27, Jesus talks about, and let's go to that real quick. Jesus talks about, that's Luke. He talks about a man. No, a nobleman is what he called. See, the nobleman was going away. And the nobleman was going because he was in air. He was like, oh shoot, I'm about to go get my kingdom, boy. He was like, he was ready to go. And the nobleman, he found 10 of his servants. He says, hey, let me give you guys some stuff to manage. Gave everybody some money. Gave everybody some money. Now, in it says he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said unto them, occupy till I come. So basically, he says, look, I'm going to give you something to control. I'm going to give you something that you just need to do whatever needs to get done so that when I get back, you can give me a good report. Think about this. So Jesus, now let's go back to Jesus real quick and his gift. Jesus was given the gift of salvation. Jesus was the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. And if that's the case, then he had to control what he was given to the point where he had to do some hard things. Guys, have you ever done hard things that you wonder, you say, man, like, can I really do it? Like, is that really possible? Look, even like, I'm doing this training, right? Last week I said I was going to do a training. I just said I'm gonna just do something. And here's the thing: if you're going to get good at something, if you're going to get better at something, then it requires practice, right? So, but just think about somebody that say is in the NBA. People in the NBA, they have to go to practice. They have to go to practice with the team. So think about this, and I played basketball, so I know just how this works. You go at the set time to practice, right? So you got practice time, you got training time, and that's pretty much it. The people who become the best, the people who really take what they have and they do more with it, are the people who says, wait a second, I'm not just going to go to practice. I'm not just going to go to training when everybody else is training. I'm going to do it on like at other times. See, Kobe Bryant was this player that a lot of people didn't like. Kobe. Like, at first, I didn't like him either. I thought he was a ball hog. I thought he was, I thought he was kind of. I mean, of course he was cocky. He should be, but I thought he was a ball hog. But come to find out, he was a ball hog because he was controlling what he'd be given, but the people that he was working with wasn't. The people that he was working with, they wasn't showing up on time. They weren't doing what they had to do. They were not living up to the gift that they've been given. Now let's go back to the text. And now here's the thing: the citizens hated him. The people in this town hated the nobleman. Now the nobleman is going to come back. He says, occupy till I come. And then let's come on down. And then he said, and then it comes, and it came to pass that when he returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him. Now he's like, yo, where's my money? To whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. Now here's the thing. What if they didn't control? What if they didn't use what it is that he gave them? Let's keep reading. And he said unto them, well, thou good servant, because wait, hold on. Then it said, then came the first, saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 10 pounds. So one guy had 10 guys all got 1 pound each. He says, thy pound, I got 10 pounds now. So here's what he says. And he said to him, oh my goodness, you're a good servant, because thou hast been faithful in very little, have thou authority. I'm going to give you authority over 10 cities. Now check this out. They didn't realize what they were working for. See, guys, when you talk about controlling what you've been given, when you talk about using this talent, this gift that God has given you, you don't know exactly what you're going to get back from it. It's kind of like, hey, I can do free trainings. I don't know what I'm going to get from it. I'm not selling anything, but what can come about as a result of you just doing the thing that you're supposed to do? It didn't say that he told them to go trade it, But at the end of the day, if he gave you some money, then you better go trade it and get some more. So this first servant now took one and he got 10. Let's keep reading. And then the second came, saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 5 pounds. Oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. And he said, likewise to him, be thou also over 5 cities. Guys, when you account for your finances, yep, let's get to the finances. When you account for your finances, when you count the cost, when you control all of what you have. See, a lot of times we have more than what we think. You don't need a lot to go make more. See, in this lesson, what Jesus is trying to tell us is that first you better count, but then when I give you something, you better control it and you better use it wisely. And these guys used it wisely. And then he said to him that he was going to give him 5 cities. So now you got the one guy took one and got 10, and then got 10 cities. But they didn't know they was going to get 10 cities. And then the other guy took one and got 5. Then he got 5 cities. He didn't know he was going to get 5 cities, but he did his work diligently. All right, now lastly, and another came saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I kept laid up in a napkin. For I feared thee, because thou art basically a crazy man. Thou takest up that thou layest not down, thou reapest that thou didst not sow. And he saith unto him, out of thine own mouth will I judge thee. So now he says, I'm going to judge you based on what you said, taking up that I laid not down, and reaping that I did not sow. Wherefore then gavest not thou my money into the bank? He says, why don't you just put my money in the bank, get some interest? And then let's keep reading. And then he said to him, take from him the pound and give it to the one who had 10. For I say to you that unto everyone which hath shall be given, and from him that have not, even that he have shall be taken away. So basically, he's saying, look, that's why it seems like the rich keep getting richer, because the rich keep doing the right thing. The rich are controlling what they have, even when they start small. Yes, all rich people start small. They look at their finances and they say, you know what, I've got $1. How can I make that $1 10? So they control the one. They make sure they find something that they can get 10 for it. They make sure they find something they can get 5 for it. They make sure they find something that they can get 2. What are you controlling in your finance? See, guys, accounting, the process of accounting is deeper than the process of accounting. I'm going to say that again. The process of accounting is deeper than the process of accounting. See, most of us just kind of feel like, well, you know what? If I don't look at it, then it's like it's not there. You're right. It's like it's not there. If you don't look at your money, well, Jay, I don't want to look at my money. It's nothing there. I don't have that much money. Okay, that's fine. You don't need that much money. You don't need that much money to get started. You don't need any money to get started. You can take a raw material of yourself. You can just look at yourself and say, what do I have in my hand? What do you have in your hand? Like if I didn't have anything, guys, if I didn't have no money, then I don't have a lot of money. I can just get out here and find somebody who needs what I have. And plenty of people are wasting money on taxes. Like if that's the one thing that I know could bring me some money quickly. Plenty of people are wasting money on taxes. I'm not asking them to prepare their taxes. I'm asking them to help. I'm asking them, can I show you an opportunity in your taxes? See, because, when I showed, one of my newest clients their opportunity in their taxes last week, what they saw was that, wow, oh my goodness, look at what I lost had I not found you earlier. Like, I'm like, yeah, you lost $17,000 minimum. You lost $17,000 minimum. And if I go back multiple years, you probably overpaid by 50 to 80,000 3 years prior. I bet you that skill is pretty valuable, and I could make a decent living out of that. That's the point. We all have something. We don't have to go for the lowest, the lowest priced thing, like, to sell oh, I'm just going to sell something for $100. No, I would sell something for $5,000 and $10,000 because that's what's going to move the needle. So you control what you've been given, you count the costs, and then lastly, Jesus had a really, really cool, there's a really cool blurb, and many people miss this blurb. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever wasted anything? Come on now. Have you ever wasted food, or have you ever wasted money? Have you ever wasted anything? Man, I'm guilty here. I've wasted food before. I've wasted money. I've wasted. See, one of the things that Jesus wants us to, one of the things that Jesus would like us to learn when it comes to accounting. And guys, see, I hope you didn't think this was like, oh, we're going to sit behind and look at QuickBooks or stuff like that. We're not looking at that stuff. That stuff is too easy. We got to get to the heart of the matter here. And the heart of the matter is waste. And a lot of us waste the little that we do have. How do I know? All it takes is $1 here, $1 there, $1 here, $1 there. I'm guilty. I've been there. So I'm not preaching at you today. I'm not telling you that I have not wasted money, because I've wasted just about everything that there is to be wasted. Yes, I have. I've spent money in places that, when you think about, all of the money that, you could have had, or all the money that you have spent, then guys, it just comes down to, we have to conserve even what's already been used. I want you to think about this. So even what we've already used, we can find value in it. And let's go to the word real quick, Matthew 14:20. And it says, this is after everybody ate. So Jesus, guys, if you don't know the story, Jesus took 5 loaves and 3 fish, and he fed 5,000 men. Now, they didn't say how many men, women, and children there were, so there were a lot of people there. Five fish and 5 loaves. So the first thing he did was multiply. So he used the accounting of multiplication. Then after everybody had eaten, then this is what it says in verse 20. And they did all eat and were filled. So that's the first thing. And then second thing, they took up all the fragments that remained, and there were 12 baskets full. Wait a second. They fed all these people, and they said there was stuff left over. And then what he did is they conserved even the stuff that kind of was used. They put all of that stuff in the basket, because it's like, hey, we don't have to get rid of that. Let's pick it all up. Let's use it again. Meaning, hey, they probably gave it away to some people who were hungry. Who knows what they did, but they didn't throw it out. So what that means is, if we're accounting in our business and we're looking at our money, we're looking at our finances, guys, look, this is important. If you're looking at your finances, the first thing we learn is that you got to count. When you start, you should count. Now, if you've already started and you didn't go through this phase, then that's okay. Then you should do it now, right? Are you doing well with looking at your finances? Well, Jay, I look at it, but man, well, I don't know what to do. Oh, what you mean you don't know what to do? All you have to do is you look at it and say, well, you should ask a question. Ask your accountant, what should I focus on? See, if you ask people like me, like the healthy accountant, if you ask, folks at my company what to do, we would tell you, we say, hey, look, yeah, you're spending money. And if there's a way to conserve, we're going to make sure you conserve. But the first thing we're going to tell you to do, well, how are you making money? So the first thing we want to tell you is that. So when you count the cost, you control what you've been given. You conserve even what you've already used. So when we conserve what we've already used, it's recycling. It's like taking my podcast, right? I do a podcast every single day. So I take the podcast, this is something that a lot of people are doing. You take the podcast, and you know what? I've got a videographer. And the videographer, he edits the podcast. He makes it into some reels. So he makes some reels. And then I've got a content person who will, make sure that aesthetically everything looks good. So we're taking one thing and making it into another, and then I send it to my writer, and then my writer's going to take the podcast and going to create some articles from it, and then we're going to create some PDFs from it, and we're also creating ebooks from the podcast. So here's the thing: everything that you use, everything that you've already been getting, you can use it again. See, most of us, look at accounting and we're just looking at it one way. But if we go into our money and say, okay, wait a second, I'm spending money. How can I conserve even what I've already used? It's okay. Well, say like a StreamYard. I've got StreamYard. I spend money on StreamYard. But here's the thing. StreamYard saving me money. StreamYard is conserving my time because now that I use StreamYard, I can literally edit and send my podcast right into the podcast platform with almost one click. Before I would have to, I didn't even send that part to the editor because it didn't make any sense. I just had to add the intro and the outro. But here's the thing. Now, because I spent a few dollars, I'm now able to conserve what's already been used, my time. See, guys, time is the one thing you have to account for. Guys, I want you to consider something as I'm just going to do a quick recap because I think it's important for us to recap before we move into just kind of like some of the big mistakes that the last mistake that I'm going to share with you and why people fail. You don't want to miss the mistake. So the first thing is we want to remember is you got to count the cost. Like that's the first thing. Go to Luke 14:28-33. You got a great story, and that's a really good story for anybody. Look, that there's a framework inside that I could have did everything just on that today, but I wanted to use more. So I'm just using count the cost there. So go and read that story because counting the cost will save you and will help you to avoid many mistakes that people are making right now in business. And your finances, your business is basically, waiting. It's waiting for you to do the little things. But Jay, I'm not an accountant. That's fine. You don't have to be an accountant. Hey, we've got great tools. Hey, if you ever need some tools, just reach out to us. We've got tools that can help you. Even if you don't have the money to pay for an account, we've got tools and we can help you with, we got a bunch of stuff that's free. And then we got things that's almost free. So definitely reach out to us. So you want to count the costs so that you can get your finances organized. Then secondly, you want to control what you've been given. All right. See, this is super important. Like control let's go back to the story. The story was that, which story was that? That's Luke 19. Yeah. So these guys were given money. So because they were given money, then they had to control it so that they can make more. So you want to make sure that whatever you actually have in your business, the money that is coming in, you want to be looking at that. Well, how can I make that more? How can I turn that 1,000 into 10,000 this month? How can I turn that 10,000 into 100,000 this year? How can I turn that 100,000 to 200 and so on and so forth? We've got to take what we already have and account for it. By accounting for it, that means you got to know where every penny went. How many of you know where every penny went from your bank accounts and your credit cards? You want to control that. And then lastly, you want to conserve. You want to conserve what's already been used. Jesus taught us a really good story there where even the fragments, which could have been trash, guys, you've been throwing things out. You've been misusing. You haven't been using things to like at the higher level. Use Facebook in a way that can help you to grow. Use Facebook so that you can do greater things in your business. I get it, like Facebook and Instagram and all these platforms, there's all these funny videos, all kinds of things that we can get on and get lost with. But right now, guys, we've got to conserve what already been used. But here's the thing. The biggest thing that we have to pay attention to is what? Time, time, time. See, here's the thing. People fail to become the person who can manage the large account because of time. Time. Guys, we're all given time. Back in, oh my goodness, man, back in 2013, it was I think it was a really good year. We were growing our network marketing business. Like I was excited about that business. That business was that was my way of that was my entry into the personal development space. That was my entry into learning who I could really become. And I just was having a good time in network marketing, growing my team, and we had just come back from this really good. We came back from a conference in Orlando. It was a Sunday night, and I remember staying up to about 2 o'clock that morning. And I'm talking about when I went to bed, I just was like, yeah, man, we enrolled new team members. Man, folks are going to do well. Look, time does not wait for anybody. Guys, I want you to ask yourself the question, if everything ended today, would you be fine or would you be okay with how you used your time? See, September the 23rd, the night of September the 23rd, the morning of September 24th, my life would change. Have you ever had something happen in your life that totally shifted you into a new gear? See, I wasn't the person who could manage, large accounts back then. I was the person man, I was just getting by. Even though we were doing some decent work and I was making decent money, it wasn't it things weren't where they needed to be. But that morning on September the 24th, early in the morning when you get the phone call from your mom and you know it's 5 o'clock in the morning, like, why is mom calling me? She pocket dialed me first. I hung up the phone. And then when she called me back, she says she was headed to the hospital. For what? Well, your brother, my older brother, was 47 years old. 47. I'm now 50, going to be 51. He did not know that his life would end September 24th, 2013. No one knows when their life is going to end. But here's the thing. If you fail to become the person, right? And don't worry about the money part. If you fail to become the person you were created to be, you fail. I don't care how much money you have. If you fail to become the person, you fail. It's all going to be contingent on time. Guys, your finances is connected to your time. What do you mean, Jay? Connected to my time. It's connected to how you use your time. I want you to do an exercise for the next week. This is your homework. For the next week, I want you to track how you used your time. See, because having really good finances, really, really, really becoming successful is just going to come down to just going to come down to your time. And that day on September 24th, when my bro's time ended, I had to sit there and I had to say to myself, man, my time is coming soon. What is it that I need to do now so that when the inevitable happens, when my time is over, I will sleep well. I will know that my finances were in the right place, my relationships were in the right place, my businesses are set and will continue to grow, my kids are set. Like, man, I have to change. I have to change. I have to change, is what I said. And that's when, from my brother's death, my life was changed. The trajectory of where I would be heading would change. I never knew that I would even want to do a training like do accounting like Jesus. I never knew that I want to talk about biblical secrets. Back then, there was no biblical secrets. There was just make money and do whatever you do, right? There was none of that. But today, you have a unique opportunity to pivot, track your time, start looking at accounting from the eye of the man who's the all-knowing accountant. That's right. Jesus is the all-knowing accountant because he's taking record of everything. And by taking record of everything, he's using those records to compile data, to compile your life financial statement. And when he looks at your life financial statement, what is he going to say? Is he going to say, well done, good, faithful servant? Or is he going to throw you in the outer darkness and say, get him or her away from me because they mismanaged what I gave them. They didn't count the costs. They didn't control what they had. And they didn't conserve and reuse the things that they already possessed. Do accounting like Jesus is as simple as 1, 2, 3. Guys, if you need to watch this on the replay, this will be here on the page, on the Healthy Accountant page on Facebook. It's also recorded on YouTube, so you can go to my YouTube channel. Guys, you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know, that'll be awesome and incredible. Like and subscribe there. This will be saved there as well. And if you ever need help with, really getting yourself organized financially in your business so you can avoid all of the tax mistakes that many people make, you can always reach out to our company, guys. So I thank you so much for joining us for this training, the 3 biblical secrets of Jesus, that most accountants miss. Hopefully you got it today and you're able to move forward in your life and your business. Guys, I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.